Hello, everyone. Welcome to From the Void podcast, all about Eternal and our experiences with the game. Before we get into the episode, I just want to thank a few people. We have Avanti as our producer, so thank you. Want to give a shout out to him. Also, we have Hero Power and EC MMO Gamers to thank. We're on twitch.com/EC MMO Gamers for our Twitch streams. Every week we try to do this on Thursday. Tonight's a little bit later, but it's okay. We're going to have a good time. So if you want to find more about the podcast, check out heropowerhs.com and fromthevoidpodcast.com as well. But tonight I'm excited because there was so much news today. There was so much that was going on, but also I have a very special guest all the way from the West Coast. We have the Mantid Man. How are you?
Man, I'm great. Super excited when I got the invite to come on From the Void. You guys are you're very new and you're putting out a great product already. So I'm super happy to be involved. So thank you very much for bringing me on and for pushing back your live stream so I could be a part of it.
No problem. I'm glad that we can do this. We can get you on here. And because you were reaching out that you would love to be on any shows or anything. You're like, hey, if you want me to talk about lore or just Eternal in general. And I was like, oh, he's coming on our show. Like, as soon as you said that, you were already on the list, but when you said you just like an open invite, I was just like, I'm inboxing you, I'm DMing you, whatever, and was gonna have you on. But real quick, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, your background with card games, how'd you got your name, the Mantid Man, maybe, if you're on any other shows. Just like what are you doing with the Eternal community right now? So just go ahead, take it away.
Sure, absolutely. So, I got no problem doxing myself here. So my real name is Matt, which is very easy to see if you follow me on Twitter, at Mantid Man, Big Daddy Matt. My history, the short version of it really is, from a very young age, like I really enjoyed like the lore in anything. Like I played, one of the first games I ever played was Warcraft, and then Warcraft 2, played Diablo, and then started getting into like some other games and things like that. And it was a lot of fun. And when I started getting my own spending money, I got into a game for maybe like 6 months. Before it broke my bank, a game called Yu-Gi-Oh! I don't know if you're familiar with it.
I am. I never really got into it, but my cousins played it a lot. So when I would go over to their house, they would rope me in to play with them. So, but anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So I got into that and spent a lot of money that I shouldn't have spent at a very formative age. So, I did that for a little bit. I didn't really, like in the group of friends that I hung out with, there wasn't anybody that played like Magic. So I didn't have the exposure to Magic the Gathering early on that everybody else did. So after Yu-Gi-Oh, I tried some other games. I played like Legends of the Five Rings and like there's a Star Wars TCG and some other like just odds and ends, really garbage games. And then I stepped away and played like Warhammer for a long time because the lore was so good. So I played Warhammer and Warhammer 40K in high school. And then after I got back from the military, there was a TCG that just came out from a game that I was playing. So the World of Warcraft trading card game came out. And I mean, I was hooked immediately. It's a great system. All my friends were playing. There was a local store that was doing these Dark Moon Fairs, which is what the events were called. So if you're familiar with WoW, it's an event in the video game. It was an event in the card game. So I played that a lot. I was like nationally ranked. I was on a podcast for that. I dove in head first with that and committed my life to it. And then 6 years ago, the game got gutted and killed by Blizzard. So they had sourced it out to a couple of different groups. It ended in the hands of a company called Cryptozoic, and when it came time to re-up the license to keep using the art and the names and all that kind of stuff, Blizzard did not let them. Everybody was really confused as to why the game died, and then Hearthstone came out, and it answered all of our questions as to why the licenses didn't get re-upped because they used a lot of the art, they used a lot of the mechanics and keywords and things like that. Like, it literally was a digital version of the card game. They just changed some of the rules, like the power system and things like that. So I tried Hearthstone for a little while. I played for like a year, I think. Did pretty well in it, but I just had this like sour taste in my mouth. I missed the WoW card game, so I gave it up. Fast forward, I stopped playing card games after that. I tried Magic for a while. Didn't really want to play. Like, I played it because it was the game that everybody was playing, but I just never enjoyed it too much. So I got away from that. And then in the winter of 2016, so I want to say October or November of 2016, I picked up, it was right after Omens of the Past came out, actually, is what it was. They had just done the first event for Omens of the Past. I picked it up. I saw it on like the App Store on my iPad. I was just sitting in bed at like 2 o'clock in the morning. They had an article about card games on the App Store. I didn't like any of the card games that they had on there. So I just searched for other card games, and I stumbled across Eternal, and I, spooled it up and played, and that fire came back. The passion. I was like, oh my gosh, this game is awesome. It has the stuff from Magic that I did like. It has this beautiful art and this cool storyline. It is complex enough to be deep, but it is simple enough that like I can pick it up and learn like that. The game is new enough at this point that I don't feel like there's a lot of people that are ahead of me. So I start playing, fall in love kind of with the game, play it off and on after I get through the tutorial and get my butt kicked and ranked for a little bit. And then in December, I remember I took off like a week from work to burn out some vacation. I was sitting at home and I'm looking for decks, and I come across a deck by a guy named Tony G, and it's an armory deck. So
you're speaking my language. Oh,
yeah.
Go ahead.
So I play this deck, and I get to Masters. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. I don't know why I stopped playing this game like consistently. So I played like just like crazy. 2 or 3 days later, I'm just searching for like other armory decks, and I come across one that is centered around Molten Fist, which is a card that like everybody's like, oh, this card is garbage, blah blah blah. Well, it was made by a guy named the Platypus King, and in the description of his deck on Eternal Warcry, it said if you enjoy this deck and you want to learn how to play more, check out my stream. And he had a link to his stream, so I went there. And the rest is kind of history from that point. Fell in love with the lore really when Dead Reckoning came out. Like, I was into the lore before, but Dead Reckoning is really what set it off for me. That's when it got like really juicy. And Aphelion, the owner of Team Rankstar, saw that I was like into the lore a lot and into the game, and I was writing a couple articles. I did an article series on the old Team Rankstar site, just kind of as an op-ed. I wasn't a member of the team, but I wrote articles for them, and it was called Eternal Vanguard. It was all about the community and how to interact with people. I did like three episodes in that, and it did really well. And Aphelion asked me if I wanted to join the team, and I said yes. Like, hey, why not? Like, it's cool to be a part of a group of consistent people that I can talk to. So I did that, and shortly after joining the team, Platypus Kings, he expressed an interest to make a podcast because there was only a couple of podcasts at the time, and they didn't scratch the itch for him. And he felt like if he wasn't necessarily satisfied with what they were doing, that other people might not be as well. So we put together Unexpected Results, the Eternal podcast. That's the name, not an actual title. It's just we jumped into and like trademarked and all that kind of stuff. So we formed Unexpected Results. Shortly after that, we talked a lot about community members on there. Never bad stuff. Even when there was drama, we tried to see both sides. We talked about the drama a little bit. And a couple of people reached out to me, and they said that they really enjoyed my take, that I could put kind of this silver lining or see from both sides onto these people in the community. And they asked me if I would do like interviews on Unexpected Results. Well, it's not my podcast. It is the Platypus Kings IP. I'm the talent is what we say on there, or what I say, and he just goes along with it. But so I get these messages on Twitter and in Discord like, hey, can you talk about this, or can you ask such and such about this, or can you say this on the show? And I decided to start writing a series where I just got somebody else's perspective on stuff. And that series is called Trail Stories. It comes out every Friday, usually before lunch on the East Coast. So we put that up. I put that up every week on the Team Rankstar website. We talk to some big names. You know, we talked to Neon. We've talked to Phoenixton, Allison. We talked to like Crack Variety. We talked to Moosh. And this week's episode that's coming out, or the issue of Trail Stories that's coming out this week, and nobody knows this yet. You're getting one of two big scoops on your podcast here. This week's Trail Stories is actually one of the inspirations for me to get into the game. I wrangled Tony G and sat down with him and learned everything I could about his take. So that'll be up tomorrow on teamrankstar.com. Nice. I'll put it on Twitter and Reddit and the Discord and all that stuff as well. And the last question you ask is like, why do I like the lore? It is, and if anybody from Direwolf or the Eternal Team is watching, this is not a dig, but it is generic enough in like high fantasy with the like Western twist that it is easy to jump into, and you kind of understand like, oh, dragons are big and powerful. You know, Radiants are these like enigmatic race, blah, blah, blah. Like there's kingdoms and there's barbarians and berserkers, like all the generic kind of fantasy terms all still apply. But then there's this twist of the kind of the Western or almost steampunk kind of feel, which I really like. It doesn't follow like an outright hero. Like Jack is the main character of this story, regardless of how much they talk about Caleb or anything else. Like the story of Eternal is told from Jack's perspective. He is involved in essentially everything. Anything that he is not involved in is just a side story. So if you look at it kind of like Song of Ice and Fire or Game of Thrones, if you've read those books, like that's a POV. There's no main character. Like one chapter focuses on Tyrion, one chapter focuses on Ned, so on and so forth. Like this is all 85% of the story is told from Jack's perspective, and then the other 15% are these little like champion spotlights or snippets of information that answer some of the questions that Jack wouldn't know the answers to, but the player needs to know. So that's why the lore really roped me in, as I like anti-hero stories, and Jack is definitely an anti-hero. He starts out as essentially a bad guy, and then stumbles into this problem that shows him how the world really works, and that maybe his rules aren't the rules he should be following. So he's gone through this really cool transition, and it's awesome. A lot of people say it's full of too many tropes. I say that the Direwolf Digital team, the Eternal team, they're taking those tropes and they're using them to their potential, and then they're maximizing their story forward from it. So
yeah, definitely. I mean, I can understand it, because I'm kind of like the fantasy reader too, kind of like Lord of the Rings to the Wheel of Time series, if you know that.
Oh, yeah, I love it.
Okay, I'm going into like real geek stuff here. Okay, but bringing this stuff in, I love the Western fantasy theme. Dragons, magic, but guns and swords. It's a really cool setting. And so the art style really was one of the main things that got me when I first heard about it. And I know we're kind of going right into lore, which we'll have to stop because we're going to talk about the news today. But real quick, what really got me into the game was someone was talking about, said it's like Magic the Gathering, but it's digital and it's not MTGO. And I'm like, sign me up for that. And and then I saw the art style, and I'm like, this art style is really cool. This is has like the Western flair to it, but you still have drag, like what I said before. So it really drew me in, the art style. I wanted to know more about these characters and everything. So I'm glad they did. Now they're doing stories with it. They're talking about the lore. They're getting this stuff together. So, but thanks for sharing all that, because it's I can't wait to talk about lore, because we just kind of jumped into it. We're going to come back to it, chat. We're going to come back to it. People listening, we're going to come back to it. So, all right, that's about the Mantid Man. I have a few questions for you about some of your content creation stuff, but we'll save that for the end. But anyway, all right, let's go into the balance changes that happened. The big news today. As I'm planning this podcast, I'm trying to, I kind of finished all the notes last night, so I was all set for today. And then Direwolf Digital has to throw a curveball at us and says, "Hey, guess what? There's balance changes happening today." And you're like, "What?" And then they were hitting all of these. They threw a lot at us. A lot of things we've been asking for, if you really think about it. We've been, some things I saw. I was sitting here today. We'll talk about one of these cards. But I got, on turn 5, I believe, someone played Aurelian Merchant, and then they got a Predatory Connoisseur for turn 6. How many times has that happened to you? It's just like
a million.
It's like the tempo with that. It's just, or even on turn 4, it happens on turn 4. That's what happened. On turn 4, it happened. And then next turn they played a sigil, had 6 sigils and the right influence. And I'm like, wow, it's a powerful, powerful move. So let's jump right into these balance changes. We're going to go, I picked out a few cards. I think I picked out some of the most important ones people are talking about. If I missed a few, jump right in.
Sure.
But let's talk about the first.
Can I ask you a question really quick before we jump?
Yes.
So just to get your take, I've expressed it before on some of the other stuff, and I've heard other people's, but I don't think I know your take on it. What do you think about these kind of surprise balance changes? Like, nobody knew these were coming. There was kind of whispers in the wind about it, but they essentially showed up out of nowhere.
Yeah, okay. Let's talk about that for a second. You're right, we should. What I think about it, I come from a Hearthstone background and a Magic the Gathering background. Those are my two things. Magic the Gathering has a set balance change that happens about 2-3 weeks after a new set release. Every new set that comes out, 2 to 3 weeks after the set comes out, they announce if there's any changes to the format. Any cards banned in either, standard, modern, legacy, all the formats, commander, any of them.
Sure.
And so when it's coming. And if nothing happens, you have to wait till the next, unless there's an emergency banning, which sometimes that does happen, but that's very rare. And that'll come out of nowhere, kind of like Direwolf Digital does. It'll be like, hey, this card's way too powerful. We made a mistake. It's gone in standard. That type of thing. But that's very rare. That's only happened, I think, one time since I was playing Magic the Gathering. Only one time. And that was with Emrakul. And they messed up that whole format with...
I even know that term, and I'm not a Magic player. I know how crazy it was when it happened.
Yeah, so they messed up with that, but so when those are going to happen. Hearthstone is one of those things where everyone starts complaining about it, kind of, and then Hearthstone comes out, or Team 5 comes out and says, hey, like this past time, I'll use this example as this time. They came out with some team notes, basically sharing with us what was going on with the game, and they said, hey, we looked at stuff. Everything's fine. And then just like a couple days ago, they announced, hey, we're going to do balance changes next week. And so they kind of let you know, but they kind of told you everything was fine. And then they announced like, oh, by the way, we were talking, things are not fine. So we're going to bring balance changes next week. And that's kind of frustrating in itself too. When they say, no, there's nothing, now there's something, you're like, yay, but why didn't you just tell us that a week ago or 2 weeks ago? I don't know if because of I'm not going to get into that. I'm glad they're doing them because with a digital card game, you should be more, I guess, liberal in how you balance cards because it is a digital card game in some ways. Yep. Now, some people feel differently about that, but I'm like, if you can do this and it's for the good, then do it. And so for this right here, we've been talking this for a while out of like nowhere, just to get to the point. I love it, then I don't, because especially if you're a tournament player, you probably hate this if you're playing in tournaments. So let's just be honest.
Especially now that tournaments are like a real deal, like they matter. $100,000 matter.
Well, yes, exactly. Now, Eternal's doing another in-game tournament next weekend, I believe. So they give you a week and a half at least for that. But for like ETS that RNG Eternal throws together on the weekends, it kind of like you have 48 hours to pick a deck, that's all new. And I can understand that frustration. I wish they would maybe say, hey, 1 week from now, balance changes are happening. Or just maybe pick a day, like every month on this day, we'll announce like, hey, or every 2 months, let's say, or I don't know, every month or every 2 months, say the second Tuesday or second Thursday of every month, we're going to just throw out notes like, is anything going to happen? You know, just to give, so you look forward to. I think maybe even if it's nothing like, hey, everything's fine right now, or like no news on the meta. Basically, they don't have to even say anything. They can just say, hey, no updates. That's all they need to say. Or like, hey, we're going to change things. So you know that, you know, just on a day that there could be something happening. I think that would create excitement, but then I can see the problems of that. People would complain if nothing did happen too. So, I mean,
you're never going to make everybody happy, but I don't disagree with you.
Yeah, what do you think? What do you think? What would be a good idea for announcing instead of out of the, because I don't think just announcing them out of the blue is the best solution. I don't mind it. Personally, I don't mind it, but I can see where people would have trouble with this.
Sure. So one, I'm not a tournament player. I have not been, and I probably never will be. My life just doesn't allow it. I said life, not wife. I know she's watching. But no, my life does not. I don't have the ability to sit down for 4, 5, 6 hours, whatever, and play in a tournament. So that is my asterisk onto my opinion here. Because some people will say, "Well, you're not a tournament player. Your opinion doesn't matter." Well, screw you. I think that a lot of people are saying sort of the same thing you're saying, like, hey, let us know when changes are coming. Let us know what cards you're looking at, all this kind of stuff. I understand both sides, and I'll make this kind of quick. I tend to be long-winded sometimes with this because I try and see both sides of it. I don't like the idea of dropping surprise updates, but at the same time, I understand the mentality of not saying something like we're looking at this card and this card and this card, because that can do certain things to the community, especially a small community like what we've got right now. Like if you said, for instance, we're going to look at Aurelian Merchant because that is one of the cards that changed. So if they said even 3 days ago, we're going to look at Aurelian Merchant, there's a small group of people that are going to be like, oh, that's great. I hope something good comes of this. There's going to be the majority of the people that are really not going to care, and they'll just say, I'm glad we know, we'll just wait. But then there's going to be this vocal minority, and I don't have to name names, people can come to their own conclusions, but these people exist that immediately go to like this doomsayer, this apocalypse prophecy, like, oh, they're going to gut Aurelian Merchant and kill time completely. F this game. Oh my god. And it's literally going to be like, oh, they're going to make Aurelian Merchant a 1/1 and it's not going to do anything. You're just going to be able to pull your cards. Like they're going to go to the worst case scenario. So I understand not announcing what cards they're looking at. The happy medium for me would be they obviously have to do these tests for at least a week, I would think, or let's just say 3 days. They're awesome, and they're able to do testing and changes and all that stuff in 3 days. When they start looking, don't necessarily have to tell us which cards, but say, community, look, in the next few days, we're going to be taking a look at some cards. If we are going to do an update, it will be on Thursday or something like that. Again, I understand the logic behind it because they've had some problems rolling out stuff before. They have to deal with Steam. They have to deal with Apple. They have to deal with Google Play. They have all these things that they have to work with, so they can't give a hard commitment. But I think when the game gets big, they need to get an answer for that. My one complaint with Direwolf the entire time that I've been in the game and in the community is their communication struggles. I don't think they're doing anything wrong. I think they just need a better form of communication. And I think part of that comes with being taken more seriously by these big companies like Valve and Apple and Alphabet, which is Google. So when they get that kind of respect, when they have a player base of 50,000, 100,000, something like that, I think they'll get that respect. And they'll be able to push those updates faster. I think that's the thing that holds them back from announcing when an update is happening, because they don't know when those three companies are going to let them push their information through.
Yeah. I pretty much agree with everything you say. I think we're on the same page. There's something that needs to be done. Because just to let you know, I went on to, they announced it. They sent you a link to Steam to show you all the changes. I looked at the comments because I'm one of those people that like to
You're a masochist. You like getting hurt. You like reading that stuff.
Well, I laugh. Okay, maybe I'm a sick, twisted person. I don't know. Okay, like I look at this and I sometimes I laugh because over half the comments were, "I'm quitting this game. I can't believe this is happening. Doom and gloom. This game is done." I'm like, wait, are you playing this game, the same game I'm playing? Like, we're yeah. I was just, it's like, no, these for the majority of this is good. This is good for the game. Like, I agree with all these changes. I really do, and I'm just like, and someone's like, well, I just crafted all this and everything. Now I don't have a tier 1 deck, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, all right, something, if you crafted all those cards, you're going to get the full refund for those. So,
yeah, I was going to say that's not a complaint they can make anymore.
You can't make that complaint. If you crafted it, you're like, well, I opened it. Then I'm like, some of you opened it though. Don't get me started on that. Okay. It's like, I opened one Ikaria and I have 3 Ikarias that I crafted. If she's not good, guess what? I can dust them, get full value. I think I created a couple cards like Channel the Tempest, like 2 of them. I get all the value back that I didn't open if I didn't open them. So I'm not going to complain. I'm like, they're giving me back so I can create another legendary that I can use for another deck that is now good. In which, because the core cards in a lot of these decks can be used in mini decks. So. Yep. It's just a few legendaries, from the 8 to 12 legendaries most of the time that need to be switched out. And they're saying, hey, you can get it back and do a different deck. All right. Anything to add with that? Because when
let's
I see
talk
that,
about the cards, man.
All right, let's jump into this. We're not going to spend too much time on this. We have, let me count here. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 5 cards we're going to try and talk about, 5 or 6 cards. And then, I'm going to give my hot take, and then I'll let Mantid Man give his hot take, and then we'll move on to the next one. Because I'm sure other podcasts, if you go on Twitter, if you go on Discord or anything, you're going to find they're going to be talking about these. All right, the first one is Ikaria, the Liberator. Okay, Ikaria, that card as the 7 cost, 3 fire, 3 green, that has like every keyword in the game on it, and that's how I put it. It's a good card. It's a good card. Charge, Warcry 5, Aegis. What am I missing here? Flying. Am I missing anything else? Warcry, Flying, Aegis, Endurance. Thank you. There we go. Endurance. It now costs 8, which is good. I think. Here's my hot take. This needed to happen a long time ago. All right. This was the top end. If you played for all the way back to Armory, when I played Armory. Ikaria was the top end. When Armory fell out of favor, aggro Rakano decks were sometimes playing this as a top end. I remember seeing that. I'm just like, what? Because it's such a good card. And, control decks. If you had Time, Fire, Justice, was playing this. If you had Shadow, Fire, and Justice, you were playing this. If you played Fire and Justice and you weren't playing Ikaria, you're doing something wrong. That's basically, that's how I look at it. It was like your curve went up to 7, then it stopped, and a Fire and Justice deck. And when that happens, when almost every Fire and Justice deck plays, that has those 2 influences in it, is playing the same 4 of, basically, it needs to be looked at. If like every deck, there's a pattern here, and it's overused, honestly. And it's really frustrating when, especially with merchants now, it made it more, what's the word?
Accessible,
and it happened more often. It was like almost every day you knew you're going to face at least 1 Ikaria, and most likely 2. Because merchants was like it guaranteed there was 8 of them in a deck now instead of just 4 in a deck. So I think this slows it down a little. I think she might still be played. I'm not sure. I haven't seen a lot of her in the past. Well, it's today, but she's still a really good card for 8. She still does a lot of stuff, but I think it slows it down enough where it gives other decks a chance, mid-range decks, even aggro decks, to finish off a game. What do you think, Mantid Man?
So I agree with most of the statements that you have. So my take isn't hot because it's not too different. Okay. I think I agree that it was a change that needed to happen maybe a little while ago. I don't know if you could go back too far and do it if you had to do it over again, just because there wasn't a lot of easier ways to get to like 7 power and have the power, like the influence requirements. But now it's just so easy, like with more seals. And like you said, she's more consistent with the merchants and stuff. I think she'll still get played. I think she's still a great finisher. And I think she's just more manageable now. Like she's still a great card. Like Warcry 5 is, if she hits the field and doesn't die immediately, she still pumps the next card, especially if it's another Icaria. Like now you have a 10/10 that does all the same things. I mean, you can get hammers and things like that. So I think she'll still get played. She'll probably get scaled back a little bit because she was used kind of as another option in a lot of decks. So I think that'll probably go away. But I think there'll still be plenty of places to play her effectively. I don't think she's going anywhere big.
For sure. I can see at least one in the markets now. If she's not played main deck, they'll just be like, she'll be in the market to play. And yeah. I agree with you. You said Icaria wasn't really too much of an issue until Merchants came around. And I think that's what kind of pushed her over the top. She was already like, I always thought it was a really good card, but now, you know, like you said, I take back that. I agree with you 100% on that. Since Merchants came about, like now I think about it, that's what really pushed it over the top. All right, what card do you want to do next? I'll let you do the next one. I'll let you pick one of the ones in the show notes there.
Well, let's talk about another finisher then. Let's talk about Channel the Tempest. All right, so Channel the Tempest, before the changes, was an 8-power, 4 primal influence required standard speed spell. And the text says, draw 3 cards, then deal damage equal to the number of cards in your hand. The change just bumped it up to 9 cost, keeping the influence requirements at 4 primal power. My take on this one is I think a necessary change in like one perspective, and that's because it's like played almost exclusively in heavy control, which is focused around temporal right now, and being able to play temporal distortion on your turn, having everything become instant and getting all your power back, and then immediately being able to play Channel the Tempest is a little bit oppressive. So I think bumping it up to 9 is the right move, and I don't think it affects the card that much. I think you'll still see it with people who like to play those style of decks. I think it just kind of balances, it rounds out that curve a little bit more on the fair side, because getting hit with Channel on turn 8 is soul crushing when you essentially can't do anything about it.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I totally agree with all of that. It needed to be done just to slow it down, not to, like you said, do the temporal distortion and Channel the Tempest like back to back, which is backbreaking, literally.
Yeah.
So let's go on to the next one. Let's do Aurelian Merchant. That was the merchant that is 3. It costs 3. It was a 1/4, and then it gave you +1 power, and it let you grab something from your market, which is probably, honestly, it's the most powerful merchant there is right now. And I still think it's one of the most powerful merchants just because it gives you +1 power, lets you ramp. I think it's good because that 1 power was like when they dropped it on 3 and you're playing aggro, that 1 just like dealing 1 damage to your minions when you're trying to like get through and everything. I think it's more fair now, just being a 0/4 because it can't attack. But yeah. I don't think it's going to change anything. It's going to see play and mid range. It's still going to see play and control. It's going to probably still see play in aggro because it's just that good. So, what do you think about this?
I agree with most everything you said. I think there was a change needed. This is rare for me. This is one that I don't necessarily agree with how they changed it. I think I understand the logic that you had, and I think with what Direwolf Digital had as well when they made this change, that it having 1 strength and being able to kill, the aggro units that have 1 hit point. Taking that away was a good thing. I think more so, I think it would have been better off like making it 3 strength, so it was like vulnerable, or 3 toughness, so it was vulnerable to like hailstorm and things like that. Would have probably been more appropriate. Like put it in hailstorm range, put it in torch range. But I'm not a game designer. I don't know what's on the horizon, so maybe it makes a lot more sense later. I think it is still a good change. It's just not the one I would have made. And I don't think it changes the application. I think it just changes kind of the dynamic of some of those matchups for the better, because, like you said, this change helps aggro come back, and aggro's in a really tough place right now, and all these changes help aggro out. So I'd like to see aggro come back into the fold as a viable deck choice because it hasn't been for a long time.
Yeah, I just saw people in the comments were like, "You're gearing this team towards aggro again. I can't believe that." I'm just like, you don't understand. And with a game designer, like you said, aggro needs to be a deck. There needs to be a couple of they keep other decks in check and keep them honest. There's a fine balance between all these decks, but when there's no mid range but there's control and aggro, that's not a healthy meta. When there's no aggro but mid range and control, it's not a you know what I mean. And it's just you need that aggro to keep you on your toes, and I think this is good. But I would like that. Maybe I don't know, because Aurelian Merchant is the only one that has 4 health. All the other ones have 1 health, 2 health, or 3 health, but this one has 4 health, and I can see it maybe keep it in line where a Torch could get rid of it for aggro. But hey, like I said, we're not game designers, so they did their
like the 4 health makes sense at the same time as well, because like all the time units are a little bit more beefy than everything else in their same slot. True. So like thematically it works, but I think from a balance perspective, maybe putting it to 3 health. But we'll see. I mean, we'll talk about meta, I think, here in a little bit. We'll see if the meta changes with it having no tough or no strength.
Exactly. Last one. This one was kind of okay, real quick. Predatory Connoisseur, we talked about that. That's kind of it's now has 7 attack and 7 health now. So that's kind of like it's a nerf and a buff at the same time, which is really weird. I just wanted to mention that real quick. I think that's to maybe combat Azendel, the new card that came out, the 7/7. That's maybe why they did that. But we may talk about that in the meta in a second, because I think there's a reason why they did that. They didn't just bump up the cost, but they changed the stats as well. All right. Last one is Vital Arcania. That was the 5 power, 2 time influence, which the original thing was draw 2 cards, gain 4 life. Now it's draw 2 cards and only gain 2 life. I think this is just to, like you said, to help aggro out. You're not gaining that 4 life, because if they were already ahead on board and you only had like 1 or 2 minions, sometimes they would take a turn off, gain 4 health, and draw 2 cards, which is pretty good against aggro. What do you think?
No, I think your assessment is spot on. Even in like their notes, they don't talk about it in their main changes for as it pertains to ranked, because I think it was only seen in some like weird mid-range decks and some of the kind of janky decks, that use mask and things like that. But it in draft and things like that, it puts the player who plays it kind of out of range. And now it doesn't necessarily do that. It still is a very good card. It still does a lot of things that you want to have happen, but it's not as oppressive. It doesn't punish the opponent as much as it did before. It's more of a utility card rather than a haha, now I'm out of range again kind of card.
Exactly. Totally agree. So what do you think the meta? What does this mean? What do you think we'll see? Like, this is like the question everyone wants to know, kind of like, what is going to happen? And go for it.
So normally I'd have a leg up on this question, because I would have been reading like Discord and Reddit and all this kind of stuff, and I would just adopt somebody else's opinion for my own. I did not have the ability to do that today for some I was so busy at work when these notes dropped and things like that. So you're getting a raw take from me. I don't think most of the decks that play Ikaria are going to change too much. They might put in a little bit more control and like shift a little more to the mid-range, like the Spire God Valkyries and things like that. Those decks, they may just associate more kind of control to make sure they can get to be able to play Ikaria. So I don't think she'll suffer too much. Channel the Tempest, I don't think anything changes for those decks in like temporal control. Predatory Carnosaur, my original thought was like, oh, this card's now unplayable. Like, it's in a weird slot. If you're going for 7, you are probably just going for 8 and 9 and stuff like that. So you're going to be playing spells rather than Carnosaur. Like 6 was the top end for the decks that played it, because that's where Heart of the Vault was. That's where Carnosaur was. They didn't care about getting to 7 or 8 power or anything like that. So I think Predatory Carnosaur takes a big hit. Aurelian Merchant, I don't think it changes any of the decks. And then Vital Arcana, I don't even know what to say about it, because I don't see enough decks outside the jank that play it. So
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with all of that. I think it's just a lot of these were just to allow aggro back into the meta because really only Skycrag aggro was the only aggro deck. You didn't have Argent Port aggro decks. You didn't have Stonecar. You didn't have Rakano. It was all mid range or control. That's and there was some combo. There were some combo decks there's in there too. But I definitely think Predatory Connoisseur was beefed up a little bit. They even said it in the notes that in the fights it could find itself in. So they're kind of hinting that they're thinking there's going to be a lot of 7 toughness creatures, a lot of 7 health creatures to kill. We talked about Azendel Revealed, which is the new one from Into Shadows. That's the one that's a 7/7 for, they cost 8 sigils. Well, 8 sigils, 2 are time, 2 are shadow. For the influence, it says when one of your units hits the enemy player, draw the top card of the deck and reduce its cost by 2. Then it says play 2 1/1 Helishi with deadly and unblockable. So basically, it's to get rid of that card. It's a counter to that card. They saw that card and they're like, hey, really, there's no, because with Killer and everything else, you can't put Killer on a Sandstorm Titan and kill it. You can't put Killer on a lot of things and kill it, but a Predatory Connoisseur can kill it. So I think that was one of the main reasons, honestly. But I think we're seeing, because we're already playing today. I played a lot today. It was frustrating because there was just like a lot of weird stuff. It's like the meta's unsettled right now, which is cool, but it's frustrating when you're trying to like climb one rank so you can like goof off, Yep. But I saw a lot of Azendel today. Like there was a lot of the Azendel revealed card. There was a lot of it for the type. I didn't see Ikaria, but I saw a lot of Azendel. There was like Time. There was Shadow, Fire, Justice, and no, I'm sorry, Time. Was it Time, Shadow, Fire? I'm sorry, there we go. Time, Shadow, Fire. And they were playing Azendel as their top end. So it was like a bunch of removal with Fire. It was a very interesting deck. I saw several decks like that today that were just like their top end was at 8 and it was Azendel for card advantage and to get it. So that's what I think was going to happen right there. I think it's I think these changes are good. So I think we should give them time to see how it plays out. Don't overreact to things. Just enjoy the game. I think it'll be better. But that's it. Anything else you want to say? Any last words on the meta?
No. Saturday is the litmus. Friday night and Saturday, the casual tournament, and Saturday we're back into like the real tournament swing. So if you don't trust the changes and you don't trust yourself to work around them, wait for those 2 tournaments to happen, and because that's what I'm doing. I'm just going to take what other people make and pilot them to victory.
Exactly. Check those out on eternalwarcry.com. It's an awesome site. Go check it out. And all right, let's go. Oh, one last thing. There's a promo quest that came out also. Okay, this is a spoiler, okay? So mute it, whatever, for the next like 30 seconds, okay? So, but here we go. Caiaphas, the Wandering King, is the promo. And so basically, if you first game you win of the day, you'll get you get your free pack, but you get this card also, which is I believe a 6 mana 5/5 that gives you 3 random abilities and anywhere from charge to stealth to unblockable, anything like that. But that happens. You'll get a copy of that. Let's see here. I'm trying to think of anything else. Also, there it is. I'm sorry, I was looking at my notes. There's also a Caiaphas. I don't know why I keep saying Caiaphas, but Caiaphas premium avatar is also available in the store for 300 gems. So if you like his character and everything, there you go. All right, let's get into the lore. This is where we are heading to. All right. I'm going to let you take this over and I'll jump in because I wrote in the notes, what's the Eternal Throne, factions, if you want to mention those, the Scions. Is somebody saying that right? Is it the Scions? Is that
Scion?
Scions. Okay, there. Yeah. I can't even talk right now. The Scions. And then let's just highlight the story. Where do you want to start with this? I want you to give like almost like, you don't have to give cliff notes like essentially on this because I don't want to spoil it for your content. We could probably sit here for like 3 hours and talk about theories and everything because but just like, all right, for like 20 minutes, the floor is yours. Let's go. What do you want to talk about?
Well, we'll give like an we'll give an overview of the lore. So again, this will have a couple of spoils in it. I'll try and stay away from like main story plot points. Obviously, if you're in the game, you know that Caiaphas has a card, so we'll talk about that a little bit. But I'll stay away from like big spoilers.
We talked about this, the producer and I. And listen, if this is going to be, there's going to be spoilers. Okay, we want to talk about things. Okay, so if go back, play the adventures. I'm sorry, the campaigns. Read the chapter stories, and then come back and listen to this part. Okay. And
there you go.
Because we're going to talk about it, because I'm going to slip up and probably spoil something. So you have the floor. This is spoiler zone right now. Go for it.
All right, spoiler zone. Okay, so the overarching lore for Eternal is we're in this world called Myria. It is this like fantasy world with your, like we talked about at the beginning, kind of these fantasy tropes. You know, there's dragons, there's giants, and there's little gnome guys, and you know, everything in between, humans, elves, the Radiant, which are these like demigods. I'll go into that more probably like in some of my content, but they're very enigmatic. Like they're these beings of pure energy almost, and they can be light, which are the Lumen, or dark, which are the Umbran. So you have like all these cool races. And the story right now is centered around the capital city of Argenport in Myria. That's the seat of power. It's where this thing of immense power, this relic from a time long past called the Eternal Throne sits. And the game kicks off where the king of Myria, he's essentially a demigod himself, like super powerful. This guy named Caiaphas. He's been around for who knows how long. He is essentially immortal. He expresses that like the Scions, which are like the royal family, they are all just very powerful beings. And Caiaphas is the king. He's not the oldest. The oldest was a guy named Roland that was still alive. That was Caiaphas' uncle. And Talir, his older sister, who is probably the most powerful character in the game right now. So Caiaphas is the king, and he sits on the Eternal Throne, and there's this war that happens. This group called the Strangers, they come out of the Shadowlands, which is this kind of dark place. Again, another fantasy trope. So it's this dark place kind of beyond the borders of Argenport's reach. The Strangers come out and they attack Argenport. They bust through the front gates. They storm the Spire, which is like the main castle. They walk right up into the throne room. They're like killing everybody along the way. And the lead stranger, a man who used to be known as Horus Traver, he essentially just walks up to Caiaphas and he says, you know, I speak for everybody, my brothers, the strangers, the people of Myria. You're a bad king. You are abusing your power. You are gaining everything you have off of the backs of everybody else. We are here to put an end to this. So they have this big fight. And Caiaphas, in all of his strength, he could take Traver by himself. The problem is Horus Traver has this army behind him that just is willing to die for the cause. So Caiaphas is like on his last legs. You know, he's down on one knee, just dying right here at the hands of the stranger general. And he has a Radiant who is his advisor. He's kind of the advisor to the court. He tells Caiaphas, like, Master, my liege, you have to use the power of the throne. And Caiaphas kind of fights this. You know, nobody's ever used the throne. Nobody knows what it can do. We know it's this thing of great power, but it's never been activated before. So Horus Traver's coming in for this killing blow, and Caiaphas just gives in. He activates the throne. There's this blinding light. When the light fades, Caiaphas is gone. The strangers are blown back and scattered to the winds. Horus Traver is dead. The fight is essentially over, but Caiaphas is gone, and everybody assumes that he's dead, which is terrible. So it throws Argenport into this, into chaos. So Roland, Caiaphas's uncle, kind of takes over the throne. Caiaphas has a couple of kids. He's Vara, who is his true-born daughter with his wife Islan, and then Caleb, who is kind of this bastard son that we learn a lot about through the chapters and stuff. So those two, they leave to go and find themselves after Caiaphas dies. Island leaves because nobody in the city trusts her. She's this barbarian queen from the north, so she leaves before she gets executed. And then Talir, Caiaphas's older sister, she's kind of this true neutral sort of character, or neutral good sort of character. She doesn't want the throne. She doesn't want to help Roland. She's more concerned about what happened to her brother and where the strangers came from. So she goes off to do her own thing. So Roland's kind of left by himself in Argenport to deal with these problems and clean up the mess, which a lot of people hate Roland. I'm a Roland sympathizer because I think the dude was put in a terrible position. So Roland is in Argenport, and he is trying to maintain order. There's this rebellion forming that wants to overthrow Caiaphas's family, so they don't want Roland in charge. They don't want Island in charge. They don't want Vara in charge. So this rebellion forms on the outskirts of Argenport, and they're like doing these raids and attacking and stuff like that. And Roland's like, I don't know what to do. The Cabal, the Shadow Cabal, they're powerful. They have people, they have weapons, they have ties in Stone Scar and all these other places. They can help. So he forces them to join up to his cause, and they help defend the city. They smuggle in food to get past like the blockades from the rebels. And then Roland, who's got now he's got his Crown Watch, the original soldiers, the Paladins, and now the Cabal foot soldiers in the city helping. He goes out to a place called Cambrai, which is this like massive university outside the walls of Argenport. And he goes and he recruits like all the students that he can to be soldiers as well, to crush this rebellion before it really gets started. So he goes and he beats them up, kind of the old adage, the beatings will continue until morale improves. Like, he just beats them into submission, and they all end up joining the cause. So they come back. Right when he gets back to Argenport, the rebels decide it's time to attack. So the rebels and their leader, General Azalio, they attack. They get into the city. Roland kills Azalio, but the rebels are just this chaotic force. I mean, they're running through the city. They're killing people. They're fighting all this stuff. So Roland's like, you know what? I can't do this anymore. He goes up into the spire and he unleashes harsh rule, which is the like maximum capacity of his power, and he essentially nukes his city. He nukes Argenport and he destroys the rebellion. But in the process, he also destroys a bunch of his city and kills a lot of people in Argenport, a lot of innocent bystanders and soldiers and everything kind of in between. So that happens, and that all kind of happens before the game starts. And then the game itself walks you through that, and then we meet Jack, who is being hanged for some reason that we don't know when we first find out. But he tells you this story. He goes through all the events. And he says, the reason I'm being hanged is because I know the truth. And the people who are hanging him essentially don't disagree. They're like, yeah, pretty much. Like, you open your big mouth, you're going to die. So they hang him. He is rescued by a Valkyrie by the name of Icaria. And they go on a cool little adventure together. And by cool little, I mean awesome and heartbreaking at the same time. Mm-hmm. So it turns out Jack actually got captured well before all this stuff happened, and he was sent out with Icaria before to find Vara after Caiaphas died. They, without spoiling too much, they essentially fail. A lot of people would dispute that, but if you think about it, like, they do not come back to Argenport with Icaria, or with Vara. So when they do get back to Argenport, harsh rule has already happened. They throw Jack back in jail. Icaria confronts Roland, and she essentially leaves. So this is like the first Valkyrie. She's one of the most powerful cards in the game. She's one of the most powerful characters in the game. So she tells Roland, like, kiss my ass. I'm out of here. If you're crazy like this, I don't want to be a part of it. So she goes out and she joins the rebellion to overthrow Roland. She finds out Jack's getting executed. She teams up with him. And they're off doing their own thing. The Cabal, it turns out, didn't get beat into submission. They kind of let Roland take control because once they were in place to deliver the city, they overthrow Roland and they put him in jail. So then the Cabal owns the city at this point. So it's kind of this giant black market. Island, if you remember her from the early on when I was talking about it a little bit, this was Caiaphas's wife. She got driven out of the city for being like this barbarian queen. She comes back. She sacks Argenport after a couple of sieges. She ends up taking control of Argenport and reinstates herself as queen, which is technically fair because nobody knows where Vara is. And that is essentially where we're at in the storyline. Like, there's some other stuff that Caleb is back and he's trying to claim the. He is found out, and he and Island, like, they have a fight, and then Talir shows up during their fight. Like, she rips a whole space-time continuum, which sounds very sci-fi, but it's also fantasy. So she rips this like rift. She comes in the middle of their fight, and she's like, "Oh my god, my nephew, my sister-in-law, fighting after my brother has died. You are all squabbling children. We have bigger problems. Get your asses to my home, the Praxis Arcanum, in 3 days, and we have bigger problems to solve." And they have just arrived in the storyline where we stand. Island and Caleb have met up with Talir and one of her associates, a character by the name of Bryn, at the Praxis Arcanum, and they have seen this like ripple. What we find out is a ripple of a message that Caiaphas, who is not dead, has sent out for Vara. He's trying to find his daughter. And then we find out through the storyline of Into Shadow, Vara finds her father in the Shadowlands. They defeat Azendel, who was the Radiant advisor to Caiaphas to open the throne. They defeat him, but do not kill him, which means he will come back, I'm sure, in the future. Mm-hmm. But Caiaphas shows him mercy. And then Vara's like, "You know what, Dad? Look, I left because I was an impudent child." She's like 19 or 20 at this point. I mean, she's just a kid for all intents and purposes. So she's like, "Dad, look, I'm ready. Let's go back home." Caiaphas is like, "You need to go home. You have a country to run. You have a kingdom to restore. You go home. I have a bigger mission. I have something else I have to do." And one of the last things that we have that is relevant to the story is Caiaphas and Vara parting ways. Vara leaves the Shadowlands and heads back towards Argenport, and Caiaphas goes back into the Shadowlands, and he is looking for this place that he was sent to that was strange, but also familiar to him. So we've answered a lot of questions in the story that we had when we started out, but we've gotten a lot more questions going forward. And we've gotten a lot of cool new characters along the way. Like, a lot of these promos get overlooked, but Tamaris, the last promo to get released before Caiaphas, everybody kind of wrote her off from a story perspective. She raises the sunken tower from the bottom of the Calderan Cradle. So not only is she not scared of dragons at Calderan Cradle, but she, by herself, raises this giant tower out of the depths of this frozen lake. Like, by herself, just because she wants to.
Wow. That was great. That is where we are right now. Caiaphas is heading back into the Shadowlands, which is like, okay, you just got. It was like, sure, okay. So his story's not done. I'm sure we're gonna see Caiaphas again. Azendel, we're gonna see him again. Right now is I guess a little spoiler. Talir, she meets up with all three of them, doesn't she? Vara, Caleb, and Iceland.
So we don't know. We don't know if she's met up with Vara. I mean, we assume she's meeting up with Vara. So like everything is kind of falling into. So yeah, actually she has. Now that I think about it,
because
Vara came out of the Shadowlands and everybody was there. So yeah, it's right now. It's Caleb, Talir, and Vara are all in the same place at the same time, which is kind of a
with Iceland or Island.
Yeah, yes. Yeah. Yep. Caleb, Talir, Island, Vara. Yeah, so the four of them. They're all together hanging out. And Into Shadow it's to catch us all up, but I don't think Talir knows that Caiaphas is alive because she recognized the voice in the last chapter information, like when Bren's scrying pool kind of blew up. She recognized the voice, but nobody else did. I don't think that Vara is telling anybody that Caiaphas is alive because she wants the throne now. She's kind of got this drive, which is interesting because they have, before they got to the Shadowlands, or actually as after, there's like this tenuous alliance to run the city all at the same time. So like Caleb is going to be the military like face. Island knows how the people need to be interacted with. Talir is even joined in and said like, hey, look, I don't want to rule anything, but we need my knowledge to guide us forward. And Vara's like, hey, I am like the rightful heir and I know what's up. So there's this like there's a temporary alliance to share the throne between everybody, and it sets us up for some interesting stuff because Caleb's very hot-headed, and Vara is, I mean, she's just a child still. Like, she's 21 at the absolute most, but I think 20 is right where she's at.
Caleb was like, what, probably in his mid-20s or something, or upper 20s or early 30s, you would think?
He can't be, I don't think he's older than 30. It's not too much beyond that because, let me pull my notes up here really quick. So, the first few things that we know happen is Caiaphas creates the sunken tower while there's still peace and creates Caleb. So we know Caleb is like this clone because there's these failed reflections that Caleb has to kill.
That's right. That's right.
And then shortly after that, the Skycrag clans attack Argenport, and that's when Caiaphas and Island get married. So Caleb was born or cloned before the Skycrag clans attack. What we don't know is like how old Caleb was when he came out. Like, was he cloned a baby and then did he get raised, or did he come out at like 20 years old and he's like 40 or something now? I don't think it's that. I think he probably came out like as a child because everybody knows that he's Caiaphas' son, which means he had to be a child at some point.
Yeah, it does mention that in the story that like, oh, this he looks like Caiaphas, or he's like, this is Caiaphas' son. We've seen him, so when they refer to him as past, as younger.
Yeah, like he's the uncrowned prince, the bastard, or the belly full of fire. So like, I think he came out probably like as a baby, like he was created in the sunken tower, and then Caiaphas brought him home and was like, hey, I had a baby while I was gone. I'm not going to tell you who the mom is because she doesn't exist. So after he brings him back, the Skycrag clans attack Argenport, and Island and Caiaphas get married. So, and then 19 years later is when the events of like the Battle of Argenport and Harsha will take place. So Vara is 19 or 20. That makes Caleb at the youngest 21, but I think he's older than that. I think there was like probably 10-year period, so I'd say he's closer to 30. Okay. We don't have, unless I missed something, we don't have like a hard time between the birth of Caleb and the birth of Vara. But we do know that Caleb is Vara's older brother.
We do know that. But yeah, so I'm trying to think here for anything else with the story, because you did an excellent job, okay? Just like wrapping it all together. I know it's just like you're just highlighting it because with some of the stuff you're going to be doing in the future, you're going to go a little bit deeper into some things with it. Where do you think we're headed? Let's close with this on the lore section. Where do you think it's headed? What is your theory?
So I will answer that question after I tell you like what I've heard the overarching theory is from other people and why it's wrong, in my opinion. So the theory that everybody else has is that that the Eternal Throne is this portal to another plane, and Caiaphas was sent there and then found his way back without using the Eternal Throne to get like to the Shadowlands and stuff like that. So I don't think that's the case. One, because they have distanced themselves in a storyline far enough away from Magic, and having like planeswalkers is just a terrible idea. So I don't think they're going to do that. Like, they're smarter. What I do think is it's something very similar to that. So Argenport, I think, sits in this like bubble, and then there is the Shadowlands around it, and then there's like other bubbles with other kingdoms that Kaifas has kind of gone to. We do know there are other worlds, but because the Radiant who stops Vara in into Shadow says, you're not only putting your world at risk, but our world as well. I think when they say that, they're talking about the essentially what would be like heaven and hell, not like an alien planet or another plane. I think the Radiants are on it's like a different level kind of deal. They're these demigods. They're worshipped as gods by the Zenin cultists. We know that there's like another religion, the Soulists, who believe in this like super deity called Soul, who I'm pretty sure is like the first Radiant, or at least the first Lumen. So that's another story for another time. But read the Genetrix Erel the Fourth lore, because it's very cool, and it's kind of got these hints of like Warhammer and the Imperium of Man. Like, Soul is this wrathful deity that locks up heresies and determines what is good and bad, and his word is final. And the Soulists are this ancient race that predate everything, by the way. The only, like, the first real event that we've got outside of like Myria as a planet or Myria as a continent exists, like the first thing that we have in the timeline is the Archives of Soul are created. So they're the oldest group in the story right now, and we have a direct representation of them in Genetrex Erel the Fourth, which is like the Pope essentially of the Soulists. But anyway, so where we're going, I think, is Kaifas is going back to this like second world or second realm outside of his own. So if you think about the world, like I said, Argenport is here. My hands would be the Shadowlands, and then outside of that are like different pockets that are different places, and everybody's kind of separated by the Shadowlands. I think what they'll end up doing is they'll just kind of expand into each of those bubbles, and we'll get more groups that come from those places that try and travel through the Shadowlands, and then there'll be probably some big war. So that's the direction I think we're going. That Kaifas is going to be the first link between these different places, and then the Eternal Throne is probably powered by like the same Waystone magic, and it keeps the Shadowlands at bay. And every pocket probably has another relic of that same kind of power, and the Eternal Throne's just the first one. That's my theory.
I like it. I really wish Direwolf Digital would release a map. Just like it
oh
doesn't.
My god!
It's just not like of everything, because they can add to it, but just like where Argenport is, where like other places, it would be amazing if they could do that. But so Direwolf Digital, if you ever listen to this episode, please release a map. Scarlatch on Discord, release a map. Just like,
I mean, we have little hints. Like we know from some of the stories that you have to travel through the deserts to get to the Shadowlands. So, and we know that you have to travel outside the city to the north to get to Cambrai. You have to travel to the south of the city to get to Stonescar. So we have this tentative layout. We know Skycrag Mountains to the north. We know that you can, if you stand in the fields around Argenport, you can look one direction and you can see Argenport. You can look another direction and see Skycrag, the mountains. You can look another direction and you can see the Felnwood, and then you can look south and see where like the Shiftstone mines are in Stonescar. So we know that Argenport's kind of in the center. I think it's probably off to like the east, probably close to the water, like a port city. Mm-hmm. And we have this kind of like general feel for where some of the other places are, but we don't have true, full, like official map. And I think that's probably the purpose, because 6 months ago I would have said it's not on purpose. That like, oh my god, they're just holding it back. Now you know that places like Ixton and Genev and Winchest and Carandon and Aurelia exist, and they have to exist inside where the Shadowlands are. Like, we know Aurelia is in the desert. It's a hidden city. We know Genev is in the Skycrag Mountains. We know that Ixton is somewhere probably to the south. So, like, we have kind of these general ideas of where things are, but we don't know how big the continent is because we don't have any time frames. Like, we don't even know how long it takes to go to places. The story is just kind of told in these time jumps. The only real things we know is, like, it takes weeks for like Island to come down from Skycrag when she doesn't have her Sky Serpents, but then it only takes like half a day for her and Caleb to fly all the way to the desert on the back of a Wind Serpent. But they have to go very fast. Like, they make a very big point of that. So, you know, it could be a month-long journey. You know, we know it takes Horace Traver like months to travel to, or weeks or months to travel to Argenport from his home, and then he goes back, and then he goes into. He's gone for a while. Like, it could be years. We don't know the answers.
So many. We got a lot of questions answered, but they just created, like, for every question we got answered, seems like there's 10 more that we are trying to figure out with, like, the map, with the merchants, with all of this. I think it's a good starting point for the lore. So thank you so much for sharing that with all of us. I could probably ask questions for 20 more, 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, but
sure,
we can't be here. We can't be here all night, you know. But
yeah. Well, I will say that if you want to get more lore and you like the sound of my voice, and you want to get in kind of on the ground floor, Team Rankstar and another sponsor, Inked Gaming, is they're sponsoring and helping me put together a lore series, and this is actually a fresh, hot announcement for your podcast. Nobody else has even gotten this yet.
Listen up, everyone. Here we go.
Yeah, listen up. So they're sponsoring and helping me put together this lore series. So it's gonna be, I'm gonna release it on YouTube. It'll be on like all the platforms, on Twitter and Team Rankstar's website. I'll put it on Discord and things like that. But it is going to be called The Oath Book, and I'm gonna do. The first episode is going to be kind of a lore primer, a little bit more in depth from what we did there. And then I'm essentially going to, listen to what subscribers and fans have to say. Like, what do they want to know? I have some people who've reached out and said, like, after you do the primer, go into a backstory for each of the sign, and then go into a backstory and like how the heroes relate. Like, tell us everything we know about Svetia, the Orine of the Kosul, and talk about Bren, and talk about Marison the Eldest. Like, there's all these hero cards. We don't know much about them. I had a request 20 minutes before we started this show from somebody who was like, "Hey, I think you're the only person, Mantid Man, who knows, who paid attention about like Soul and the Soulists. Like, tell us about the Citadel of Light when you do your lore series." So look out for The Oath Book. It should be coming in the next week or so, the first episode. And subscribe on YouTube and follow me on Twitter at Mantid Man, and tell me what you want to see, and I will be happy to put that together and answer questions. I'm always in the Discord, the official Discord, and the lore channel, and I'll be happy to throw my my hat in the ring for answering questions that we know the hard answers to, and then speculating. I love speculating just as much as I love giving facts and keeping people informed.
Awesome. I am looking forward to that. Great name, by the way, The Oath Book. I love that. Off the card, also.
Yep.
So we will make sure to highlight that when it comes out, mention it on this podcast, because I'm definitely interested in it, and I know other people will be as well. So speaking of kind of keeping in the theme of lore, we have a really awesome deck this week. For the deck of the week, this was a deck by one of our teammates, Team Rankstar, Ingenuity, and I think I'm saying that right. He did a mono shadow deck, and then Cracked Variety also did a mono shadow deck. So I was messing around with both of those, And then I tweaked it just a little bit by 4 cards from Cracked Varieties reason. And this is what we have. I'm gonna read them out. If I don't say a number, that means there's 4 of them in the deck. So if I say like Dream Snatcher and I don't say a number, that means there's 4. So let's just run through the deck real quick, and then we'll talk about it in a second. So there's 4. There's Dream Snatcher, Rip Knife Assassin, Krendon Merchant, Impending Doom, Vara Vengeance Seeker, Umbran Reaper. Then this card is awesome. It's an attachment. Marionette Cross. What is that? Okay, that's an attachment for 3 shadow. It's cost 3. It's 3 sigils, but they're all shadow influence as well. So 3 shadow influence as well. And it gives you a 5/5 creature. So when that attachment, if the attachment is broken or the creature dies, so basically if the creature dies, the attachment's broken, but if the attachment is broken, the creature dies. It's like one of those things. But it's a really cool card. For 3, it just lets you do some really good aggro stuff in the deck. Then you have 3 Dark Return, 2 Sabotage, 3 Shakedown, 3 Annihilate, 3 Vara's Favor, 3 Devouring Shadow, which gives a -1/-1 for each of your shadow influence on a unit. So it's kind of a cool kill card. Since you're playing mono shadow, why not, right? Because it's like,
that's right.
Yeah, you might as well play it. Then you have Hold Up. Hold Up. It's the enemy player discards 2 cards of their choice from their hand. So that's kind of fun to play. I've had some really interesting things with that. And then, of course, you have the Shadow Sigils, Amethyst Monument, Amethyst Waystone, Cabal Standard, and Sealed Writ, which is the new card, one of the new cards from Into Shadowlands, which basically gives you a 7-mana card that deals 4 damage, but it gives you double damage if you have no other cards in your hand. So it can do 8 damage. So it's just a way of like a little bit of finisher. Market is a Cold Blood, a Burglarize, Stray into Shadow, Emrit, the Gathering Dark. That is basically a card that is good against a troll. Makes basically if it attacks and it hits, and it has charge as well. That means that your opponent, he discards cards until he hits a creature. So that can be devastating against like a temporal control or. I mean, if their Aurelian Merchants and Scorpion Wasp are like in the bottom half of their deck, they can like lose like 20, 30 cards, which would be hilarious. And then Azendel's Gift, which is good against control as well. So this is a deck we're going to play over. It is actually that one's been playing. This one is mostly influenced by Cracked Variety, and I've actually been doing pretty well with it. And so we'll have this deck linked in the show notes as well. But just mess around with it. It's a pretty fun deck. We're going to play maybe a round or 2 with it after we get done. But that just kind of goes with the whole Into Shadows theme. So I thought that was kind of fun to play. And I hope we see more decks like that, monocolored decks, because I like the 2-3 color decks, but sometimes just having one color that I hope they print more cards, kind of like the what is it called? What is the one here? Not the Marionette Cross. So I hope they actually the Marionette Cross, because it costs 3 and it has 3 influence. That means it's really hard to run it in multicolored decks or multi-faction decks or faction decks. Yep. And also
Devouring
Shadow. Yeah. I hope they print more cards like that to incentivize you to play decks like that. So I hope I see more of those in the future, because I think those are really interesting and kind of an unexplored territory right now. So that's the deck of the week. Before we go, Mantid Man, you talked about your Oathbook project. We also know that you're on the Unexpected Results podcast. It's kind of on a break right now till Platypus King can get moving around again and heal up, and until that can happen again. But we wish the best for him and a quick healing and everything else. But we know you do that. You have the Oathbook. You also do the Trailblazer stories, right?
Yeah, Trail Stories. Yep.
Trail Stories. Anything else am I missing that they
No, that's it. I mean, I try and post on Reddit a lot in the Eternal channel. I'm on the Discord all the time, and you can find me on Twitter, like I said, at Mantid Man, no spaces, or you can search Big Daddy Matt, and I'm like the first thing that pops up. So
exactly. So you can find him at Mantid Man, or just like I said, search for Big Daddy Matt, and ask him questions. He'll respond to you, especially if it's about lore. Okay, and
Absolutely.
And everything. So that's where you can find them. You can find me on Twitter as well, _Navillus. That's just my personal account. If you're looking for my gaming account at What the Deck HS, kind of has to do with a little bit of Hearthstone, but I do a lot of Eternal stuff on there now as well. So just search for the word Navillus and you will find me. Also, our partner, my co-host, Travis, you might know him as Bassoon Buffoon. All right. He is not here. He's on vacation. So I look forward to him being back next week. But you can find him on Twitter at Human Venipede. All right. So either search for Bassoon and you'll find him, or Human Venipede. He is also on Twitch as well as Human Venipede. So he does streaming. And his show was quite entertaining. Okay, I'll say about that. He's an entertaining individual. I'm glad I get to work with him. Also, remember, if you want to know anything latest from our podcast, you can follow us on Twitter at From the Void Cast. If you're our sister show, which is a Hearthstone podcast, they're at Hero Power _cast on Twitter. Our website is FromTheVoidPodcast.com. It should be almost ready. We're still working on a few things, but also new announcement. By the time this episode releases, there's going to be, that's right, a From the Void Discord. I know there's always a million Discords, but if you want to chat with us, we actually have a lore channel. So that's where you can I'm going to send a link to Mantid Man, because I'm like,
yeah,
we're just going to make you the admin of the lore channel. Like everything's just going to be directed at you from there. But so by the time I am almost done fixing that up, all the channels and everything, so that should be ready tomorrow when the podcast goes out. There will be a link to the Discord in the show notes, and also we'll tweet it out tomorrow once the Discord goes live, so you can chat with me, chat with Bassoon. We'll send an invite to Mantid Man. We'll send an invite to everyone. So it'll be a great place to hang out, just talk about Eternal stuff that is going on there. So any last words, Matt? Any shout outs? Give?
Nah, I mean, teamrankstar.com as well.
Yeah, Team Rankstar.
Yep, Inked Gaming as well. They make some great play mats and mouse pads and stuff. But yeah, Platypus King, man, literally and figuratively, I can't wait to have you back on your feet, brother. Yeah, a lot of people miss you. So, hope you make it back. Hope everything is all well and good. And to everybody who checks out this podcast or anything else, be cool with one another. Like, we're a small, tight-knit family. We're going to get really big really soon, but it's good to have friends that were here from the beginning. So don't be shitty online to each other. Hang out, talk, be just, in the immortal words of Bill and Ted, be excellent.
For sure. My couple of shout outs. I'll mention Team Rankstar again. They're awesome. I will actually help Bassoon out also. Seek Power Gaming, he's part of that team. They're a great group of people as well.
Absolutely.
So go definitely check out their stuff as well. Shout outs to Avantis for producing this, staying up late with us. Thank you, sir. You are awesome, a good friend. Also to our sister cast, the Hero Power Podcast. You guys are awesome, and thank you for giving us the opportunity to do this. And to everyone who listens, thank you. You are all awesome too. And if you have any questions, please hit us up with our DMs. Also, forgot to mention, if you like the podcast, leave a review. It doesn't have to be 5 stars, which are preferable, okay? But if you can leave us a review, just to search for From the Void on iOS, Android, Google Play, wherever. We're on there, so just if you can give us a review, that would be awesome, and we'll read it on the show. I know we have one review, and it wasn't up there yet, so that next week, there'll be a review by one of our listeners. So if you, good or bad, we'll read it, okay? So that is my word on that, because we want to hear from you improvements or anything else. So that's it, guys. Thank you for joining us from the Void. All right, Avantis, we're done with this, so we can go into, if you're in Twitch with us still, I'm gonna play the Shadow deck real quick.
Let's play it a few games,
and you guys can laugh at me because I'm still learning this, and this meta is crazy right now. Let me know. Okay, I guess I'll jump in game, and
I will spectate once you are in.
All right. I am jumping into a game right now. Oh. All right, let's see how we do here. I feel like this deck is so close to being like really, really good. Like so close. I think it's a tier 2 deck. So if you're playing this, I believe this is a tier 2 deck. I know that Cracked Variety took this to Masters, I believe, and Ingenuity, he was with his version was top 50 Master. So
yeah, like this is definitely a Masters level deck, and I think there is because of the changes to the cards today. Like this deck was good before the changes, but I think there's a strong fire deck out there that people just haven't found yet. But with the couple of cards that really held fire back are nerfed. That being Carnosaur and Icaria. So I don't know if anybody who's watching is good, or any of you guys are good at deck building. I know I'm not, but I feel like deep in my soul there's this fire deck that exists.
Yeah. So I'm just playing. My hand's not too good on this game. Have a lot of depleted sigils, so I'm just going to be playing like the Amethyst Monuments to hopefully get Shadow Sigil, so I can play this on turn 3. The Marionette Cross. It looks like this is tough, right? Because sweet, we can use. Well, hang on. I guess I have to. Why does it have to be depleted? Why? Okay. We want to use this, but not this turn. Either way, it's going to be play this.
I mean, Sealed Writ's not depleted, so you could play it and then Vara's Favor to get to 3 power next turn.
3 power, but this he has 3 influence. That's the only bad thing.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Spiked.
All right, okay. Going to market here. Let's see if we play the Merchant next thing. We really don't want to... I'm going to play this and just hope that we can draw a Shadow Sigil. All right, we're praying to the RNG guys now to give us a Shadow Sigil. All right, let's see what he does. I know you might be thinking
that's a sick avatar you have, by the way. That's that premium aura right there.
Okay. With that, I am going full on right now, like theme mode right now. Look, I just need to get I didn't do the right card back. There was a card back I wanted to use. Okay. I was almost. I have the Vara. I have... okay. Anyway. All right, let's see here. I don't like that, but there's nothing we can do about that right now. What do you think, Mandy? Do we play Dream Snatcher or do we go for Vara's Favor? What do you think?
So he's got the Bullet Shaper out, which means that he's probably sitting on a spell that he can churn. So you're gonna have to start digging deep pretty quick. So I would go Dream Snatcher, and then I'd go Dream Snatcher so you can start pumping damage. Because next turn, if he blocks your Dream Snatcher and hasn't used his Bullet Shaper, you could spike it with Vara's Favor.
True. And all depends too, because when we go into our market play, we have and Cold Blood is really good in this match because if it's a green unit we want to kill, it's nice. See, I'm not sure in this deck with the Devouring card, the one that gives the -1/1 based on influence, or I should have Cold Blood in this deck because there's so much Justice running around right now with Justice units. That it's such a good.
Yeah, and Cold Blood is a super strong card, and it was very powerful for a long time, and I don't really know why it fell out of favor.
Okay, well, obviously, we're gonna I'm gonna attack because if he attacks, we can use Vara's Favor and kill it off. I mean, if he blocks. Thank you. What is he gonna do?
He might pump it. Oh, he's gonna.
What?
That's weird. Why would you block? If you're just gonna torch, I don't get it.
What? Okay. Okay. I'm not sure. Okay, I'm just. Obviously, he has another torch in his hand, so we know he has another torch in his hand because they don't play the +3/+3 green pump cell because it's like an Icaria deck or something, like I don't know, Valkyrie deck he's playing.
Oh yeah, the only pump this one plays is Roland's Choice.
True, and that's 2. That's cost 2 mana.
Yeah, and it's on a Valkyrie only, so it wouldn't work on Bullet Shaper.
Yeah, 2 sigils or 2 power. Sorry, cost 2 power. MTG background. I say mana.
Yep.
Oh, he's discarding that. Okay, to get 2 power. What is he gonna do? Ooh, okay, that I have to get rid of. Okay. Okay. Well. Okay. This is tough because do I want him to discard cards in his hand? That'd be cool. Or do I go for the cold blood? I go for the cold blood, right? You think?
I mean, you don't have unless you draw something else, you have no other way of killing that card. So, like, Amelie is a gangster, so I would in cold blood her.
Okay, so we'll have to do that next turn. But like, so like these cards, I mean, I wanted him to discard his hand too. So I'm just like, what do I do? All right, let's do this. Let's play this. We'll have to, and then in cold blood, we'll do that. There we go.
Yep, and you still have 2 holdups. Like, he's not going to have a hand if he plays too much more stuff.
Yeah. Sure, make your 1/1. Ooh, rise to the challenge. Oh.
He's going for another Amelie, I bet you, which you'll be able to get rid of within cold blood.
Oh, that'd be so sick. That'd be so sick. Please, 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 please. Because he knows I'm playing Mono Shadow, so he knows that. Yeah. There we go. In cold blood.
Fingers crossed.
Yes! Oh! We did it.
Called it. Like, he had no other choice. He couldn't go for Ikaria at 8 power.
Yes. Oh, my word. Oh, my word. Yes. That was great. That was great. Oh, man.
And now if he plays too much more stuff, now you'll be able to kind of control his hand pretty hard with up.
All right. I could go for this right here to kill all the units. Should I do that?
What's this right here?
Stray into Shadow? Because I have a merchant. The Krendan merchant, and I can go into Stray into Shadow if I wanted to wipe the board. Because
do you have the fifth power though?
Oh no, I don't. But okay. Do we risk it? Because I should draw another power soon. Like, I should. Or do I just go? I just discard, right? I just discard both his cards, right?
That's what I would do. I would get rid of his cards and just start punishing him for emptying his hand.
Yes. You have to discard both of them.
Gangster,
oh!
Big beats. That's awesome.
Oh,
see, and
man.
now you can like attack. He might block. He might not.
Yeah, I'm gonna slowly kill his creatures.
Yep.
Oh, look, another. This is awesome now. Okay. Do we just make him discard again, or do we just play Umbrum? Because he didn't play it, so obviously. All right, what are your choices? What do you think, man? Do we get?
So I think you hold off on the hold up.
Mm-hmm.
I think you play Karandon and get Stray into Shadow, because that gives you a blocker, so he won't attack.
Mm-hmm.
You have Stray into Shadow, so if he plays anything else, you can wipe or almost wipe the board. And then if he doesn't play anything on the following turn, then you can hold up and make him discard both cards again. So okay. I think Karandon, pitch your Umbran Reaper. No, pitch your Nightmare. The other guy, what's his face?
Nightmare? Yeah, the Impending Doom. Okay.
Yeah, pitch the Impending Doom.
And we take Stray into Shadow. Okay.
Yeah,
we'll take that.
Exactly.
Okay. All right, there we go. Sounds good. Because even if he plays the another one of these things right here, the Great Bow, the Rizon Great Bow Master, we still can kill it because it's only. Oh, look at that! Oh, look at that! Don't play anything! Don't play anything! Yes. Okay.
Look at that!
Oh, Oh, are we ready for this? Are we ready for this? Let's ruin his day. Let's ruin his day. Yes, yes.
Golly. I mean, you called it. You're like, even if he has Riz on, but now he doesn't.
Oh my word. Okay. All right. We're just ending.
See, now you can start playing like stuff. I mean, you can play Umber and Reaper. You can play your Marionette Cross. I mean, you're in such good shape.
I'm gonna play the Cross here just in case he gets another Riz on, because I don't want to kill it. I'll play that after. So we'll do this here. And I kind of want to save this just in case I get another shadow, because I have 6 power right now. I can do 4 damage to something. So I'm thinking holding on to that right now. So I say we attack, right?
I would, yeah. Start going face because you got a little bit of catch up work to do.
Yeah. We'll play Umber Reaper next turn. And then go.
Yeah, and Umber Reaper is a good swing because even if he dies, he's only playing the Silence Valkyrie Enforcer, so you're in good shape there as well.
All right. I think we hold off on this. We don't want to play this. We hold off just in case of a situation. And so let's attack with both things first. Okay. Try and think here. The only fear is if he plays Icaria. No, he can't, because Icaria is 8 mana now. Okay.
Yep.
I think we just play this. Okay. He's reading the card. Yeah, you haven't seen this card in a while, have you? Come on, Enforcer, really? Okay. That's fine. Ooh, that's a good card. I say we just swing with both, right?
Yeah, just start going face. Like it's time to make him pay.
Okay, and we gain some life here by playing this. All right, this is putting pressure on him right now, and so okay, he's gonna play this. Okay, cool. Get this. There we go. And this right here, double damage if you have no other cards in your hand. So let's attack face with both here. Because if he doesn't block... Okay. I just say we play it all, right? Because even if...
I just drop your Rip Knife down and then go ahead and pass, yeah.
Because we just want to... Yeah. Oh, yes.
Got him.
Look at that. Look at this. There we go.
Like this deck does everything. Like if you're an aggro player, you have aggro in here. If you like playing control, you get to punish the opponent's hand.
Yes.
If you like mid range, you can just camp out and get like Stray into Shadow and other stuff that wipes the board a few times. Like this deck is a flavor for everybody.
It is.
The only thing it doesn't have is like a big ass somewhere. And it sort of does in Dream Snatcher if you can use his ultimate.
We didn't even see Valra come out either. So
yeah.
All right, we're going to another game here. Let's do this. So that was perfect. That was like with the hold up and everything. Oh man, that was beautiful. Just discarding the Rizons and like his sigil. So we screwed him on mana, on minions, on everything basically for like 3 turns in a row. It was great. Great.
And then calling his search for that second Amelie. And then spiking it, dude. That feels so good.
Yeah, because you're like, I'm like, he has to, because that's really, when you're something like, oh yeah, so we just cold-blooded that and it comes out of his hand, you're just like, oh man. That was beautiful. All right, we're still searching for another game here. There we go, okay. All right, this hand is, you can't keep this one. This one right here is not good. All right, okay, we have a Shakedown, which is one of the new cards in our open. can't use it right away. I'm gonna attack it. But we do have 2 Vara, so let's hope for some lands. Not lands, of some sigils. So let's see what he has. Let's see what he has. Okay, we'll take the Wasp. Play that. So hopefully with Nightfall. So he's playing Xenon. He's playing that Azendul Xenon that's kind of out. Oh no. This is like a life speaker, something or another. Okay, cool. We will wait. We want Vara to come out next turn because we have Impending Doom, Vara, so we're gonna start just throwing out minions next turn, so. Oh wait, what was that? Oh, that was Nightfall. I should have waited. I totally messed it up. Oh well. Okay. I was thinking that was a depleted land. I thought it was one of these. Because Amethyst Waste, I just saw Amethyst.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, I need to read the cards. Okay. I don't think we play Merchant because we really don't. Do we play a Merchant just to switch out an Impending Doom for a Cold Blood just in case of something, or?
Yeah, I mean, like Cold Blood's not gonna. It's just a kill spell against this deck, but it's still good to have kill spells in case he sets up some kind of combo.
Yeah, so I'm thinking because we have Vara, and then we can bring back a Vara again. So I think that's pretty good. I think we just play Merchant just to do this, and because he's playing some type of gaining life shenanigans deck that he's in Diamond 3, so he's probably messing around right now.
He's got a beautiful theme to his deck, though. He's got the great.
I know. Okay,
the awesome
I give
avatar.
him. Okay, I give him props for that. That's like give him or her props. All right. We play this. I think we just play Vara. Before we play Vara, I think we should attack. Just all right. Playing Vara because all right. He may have a kill spell for it. That's okay. He'll waste. Ooh, it's Mask. Ooh, I wish I could get burglars, but it is what it is. We'll attack with both. We just got to race him now. I am going to play the tactic. Do I play Cabal Tactic? What do you think? Do I just play Vara Pass or play Cabal Tactic? What do you think?
Oh, the Cabal Standard?
Cabal Standard to get Cabal Tactic. If just in case, do you think that? Because I think next turn he's going to play a Wasp or something, and I got to kill that, then I got to go all face. And so
yeah, I would play your Vara.
Play Vara. And do I play the Standard? Do you think I should play the Standard, I think?
Yeah, you're going to need as much power as you can get hands on.
Okay, there we go.
Because if something dies, you'll be able to Cold Blood and Dark Return.
Yeah.
Or Dark Return and then resummon or something like that.
Okay, he's playing Cold. Playing Cold the deck. Plays the Wasp. Plays another Wasp. Ooh, look at that.
Oh, quick draw.
We're so doing this. Oh, we're so doing this. Oh, that's so gross. I like that play a lot. That was a nice top deck right there.
It was perfect.
All right, this right here.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead and shuffle your 3 cards in.
Okay. There's a chance you could have a Wasp up, like a Scorpion Wasp. There's a chance, but I really don't care because we have this.
Right.
Do I want to? Should I kill that and then go face? I think I do. I just killed.
Yeah, I was gonna say I would shoot the Lumen, and that gets you 2 of your guys in. Plus, it probably wipes his 2 others out.
Yeah. Do I do a Cold Blood or do I do Devouring Shadow? Really?
It doesn't matter. I would do the Cold Blood because
Yeah.
Devouring Shadow, like.
Yeah, he has nothing because, well, he may have something because we'll see. He has to block. Okay. Okay. What do you have? What do you have? I really want to hold up right now just to make him discard cards. I want to like. I just want to. Yo, look at that.
Peace out.
2-0 people. 2-0 with this deck. All right, shall we do one more? If I win one more, I get into Diamond. Okay, should we do this?
Let's do it live on stream.
All right. One more game. Let's see if we can make it 3-0 for this stream here. All right. You're seeing the many ways this deck can win. You can.
I was going to say that's two very different. You essentially played two very different decks, right? I mean, in the same deck. Like that game was very aggro. Your first game was very like tactical. So if you enjoy different play styles, this deck is for you.
Yes. Dino, good person in the neighborhood. Okay. This is very interesting. This is because we have Dream Snatcher, we have Rift Knife, and we have Marionette Cross, and plus we have the influence to do it. So, but the person's going first though. That's the whole thing. So technically, it'll be a slightly slower. I think we go for it because I think we just still with Rip Knife.
Yeah, I think you're in great shape.
Okay.
And the fact that half of your units are deadly is just...
All right. He's on control some type. That was the whatever that card is called. Let's go with... I'm going to play Cabal Tactic. Pass. Play this. All right. I'm liking what I'm...
Yeah, having that Devouring Shadow is great. And your power situation is off the charts as well.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. I think I just go here and then play the... Put pressure on, honestly.
Yep.
Make him deal with it. Because next turn, if I wanted to, I could Devouring Shadow... Whatever. I'm pretty sure he's looking for a time. Okay. All right, we can... I can attack with this. If he blocks, then kill it with Vara's Favor, then play a Dream Snatcher. I'm thinking that's the route.
Yeah, and then if he doesn't block, you can decide if you want a Devouring Shadow it or not.
Okay, yeah, I'm just going to get rid of that. And that sets up for a Pending Doom next turn also.
Mm-hmm. Dino walked himself right into it.
Oh, Dino. Oh, that changes things a little bit. Okay. Do I just play a Pending Doom, right?
Yeah, because he has to use a kill spell for it. I mean, he's probably got a kill spell in hand.
I forgot to put Amethyst, but that's okay. Okay, gain 3 cards.
He's digging.
Nope, he doesn't. Okay. He's going to use... Okay, I'm fine with that because we can play both these next turn. And we're going to get a Puma next turn too. So let's play both of these and then pass. Let's just hope he doesn't have another harsh rule or... So usually this deck is very good because you have... Oh, he's playing that Huru. No.
Nostrix. Yeah, Nostrix Porter. Ugh.
Whatever that's called. Okay, we can bring back the Impending Doom, but I think we want to... I'm trying to think here. So if we attack with both, he'll probably block with this. We can kill that. and then we resurrect the impending doom. I think that's the play.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right, let him have no more of those. Well, he does. He has it's an echo card, so he has another one. But that's okay. That's okay. Let him attack with that. Interesting. Okay. Okay. We can play that next turn. That's fine. We'll hold this up.
So we know his last card, or one of his last 2 cards, is the other.
Yeah, it's
porter.
it's that porter. Oh. Channel the
Oh, did he didn't merchant, did he?
No. How did he?
How did he get rid of Porter?
Oh, strategize. Strategize.
Oh, strategize. Okay, I missed the strategize. That's fair.
Oh, the enemy player discards 2 cards from their hands.
Did he have Aegis right there?
Oh, that's right. He did. Oh, my word. I was not even thinking of that.
I was looking down, like when you said it. I was like,
looking down. I just threw the card. Oh, I just threw the Oh, my word. This is not how you play, people. This is not how you play.
I mean, this guy, he's digging hard, so we're still not in terrible shape.
No. Okay.
Like, we're racing right now.
Yeah. Yeah, he's digging right now. Okay. Let's see what he has.
Balkan
that's fine.
Enforcer. Yeah, that's all right.
Fine. All right, that's good. Think we attack. Yeah. If we attack with this, we can play this and kill something. Because I'm thinking you would kill this, play this to block one of these to give you another turn.
Yeah.
Or do you... No, I think that's the best move. I think we just attack. All right, he did that for us, which is good. Oh, do I just play a lifesteal unit now? Or... I'm trying to think here, because if he has Channel the Tempest, next turn, he'll be doing 6 damage to us. So I think I just kill... Yeah, I kill this and play this. Let's do that.
Yep.
Let's
Because Rip Knife can't get hit by Vanquish either, so...
Okay, scouting. Oh, I totally threw this game. I can't believe that. Can't believe that. Ah, the hammer. All right. All right.
Hey, unless he has another silence, that's a 10-point swing right there.
Well, he has I should just play this because I'll gain 5 life either way.
Yeah, you'll gain, and even if his Aegis gets popped, like, you're fine.
Okay.
So tense.
I know. I really don't like how Aegis like protects the player from discard spells. I understand burn spells. I understand the whole concept of person, but I don't know. What did he just play right there?
I don't know.
It's
It's scout for me.
Are you serious?
Dang it.
Can't get a break.
Oh, he used Svetches.
Oh,
Is what it was.
that's right. That's right.
I mean, I just dropped the Puma.
We really needed like Vara or another something to contest.
Yeah.
He must have channel. No, harsh rule, and then that'll end
And the kill. That's
Oh.
GG. 2-1. It's
Oh
all
well.
good.
Well, I kind of I don't know if that would have really made a difference if I put the Puma earlier. Probably would have, because I would have gained life a couple times. But he just drew the what he needed at the right time. So
Yeah,
2-1. So as long as you don't try to make someone discard with Aegis, this deck is pretty good. Okay, so we have learned things tonight.
That's right.
So that'll be it for the Twitch portion of the deck here. It'll be on YouTube as well. So go check it out. Enjoy it. Thank you, Mantid Man, for hanging out with me for a couple hours tonight. And we got some good laughs and some scratch your head moments with me trying to discard someone with Aegis. And we will not speak of that again. And thank you, Avanis, for sticking around and making sure all this runs smoothly. So thank you guys for watching. Until next time.
Later.